So I invite you to get comfortable, relax, and close your eyes or lower your gaze so that you can go within during this time of meditation. Feel your body relax as we breathe deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth, releasing any tensions you may be holding. And gently, we allow connection with our divine nature. That divine spark within, in gratitude and appreciation for life itself and our shared humanity. Our divine nature seeks expression, and we are feeling ready to release what may no longer be serving us. I invite you now to gently focus your mind on this question. What thought or belief do I need to release or let go of to allow for the next stage of my spiritual development? What thought or belief do I need to release or let go of to allow for the next stage of my spiritual development? Listen to its spirit as your divine higher self whispers in the stillness. Allow yourself to receive what is for you in gratitude. Now gently bring a smile to your face as we thank you, sweet loving spirit, for this time together in the silence, and gently open your eyes. So my talk today will be about celebrating life. I'll begin with a little joke or riddle. What did one caterpillar say to the other caterpillar? Is transformation really possible? I love butterflies, especially and specifically monarch butterflies. Late October and early November is the time when we see more of them as they make their way through our area. They migrate south to the mountains in northern Mexico, where they winter before heading back in the spring. Did you know that it takes about 5 generations of monarchs to reach Mexico? The ones that started the trip never actually make it, and the ones that get there have never been there before. Isn't that amazing? The entire process is a mystery that even science has yet to unravel. All they can do is observe and marvel at this phenomenon. I got to observe the entire process of metamorphosis a couple of years ago when a friend of mine brought me a small caterpillar to foster. Here's a picture of him. Of course, it didn't need me, but I was so grateful to witness all the stages of its development. And I learned so much about this amazing being and about what transformation really requires. You probably remember learning about these cycles of metamorphosis when you were very young in school. I believe it's part of the curriculum in the first grade for Texas. Of course, as an adult, I got to notice so many more stages because I could see them with my own eyes and marvel at the process from a more mature perspective. I'd like to review the stages with you and have you reflect on the stages of our spiritual transformation as individuals and as humanity. At first, the caterpillar's life is just about survival. It's a tiny eating machine, starting first with its own egg shell, and then it goes on to eating the leaves of the plant on which it was placed. The plant is the milkweed, and it is the only plant monarch butterflies will lay their eggs on. The sap of the milkweed can be toxic, but not to the caterpillar. It makes the caterpillar taste nasty, which protects it from predators and provides special chemicals that help it go through its growth stages. Through this stage of development, it is growing so fast that it keeps shedding its outer skin continuously for up to 5 times. There's a lot of change and growth, and it's just the beginning. Somewhere, somehow, deep inside, this caterpillar knows something is ready to change. It's in its nature. It begins to behave very differently. For one thing, it stops eating. This plump little caterpillar now seeks a new secure spot where it can go into the next stage of its development. It weaves a connection at its tail and attaches itself in the highest spot it can find. It hooks itself upside down and holds itself in the form of a J, and it had never done this before. This seems like such an odd behavior and very different from how it moved in the world in its previous stage as a wiggly eating machine. Something in it knew it was changing, and it just went with it because it was ready, because it was in its nature. In this J stage, it stays perfectly still, which lasts for a few days, which is a relatively long time in the life of a caterpillar. There it is in the silence for several days, and then something begins to change again. Something within itself signals it is released in outer skin one more time, and it takes on another new form, from a caterpillar to a pupa. It definitely doesn't look like a caterpillar anymore. Something inside signaled its readiness to change again, and eventually another big change occurs. It creates an outer shell or chrysalis, which no longer looks at all like the caterpillar or the pupa. The changes are noticeable if you're paying close attention. Literally, before your eyes, it turns many different shades of yellow, then eventually an incredible shade of green. If you came upon it at this point, never knowing how the process started, you would never believe what it was before. Now it looks like a piece of jade stone. Tiny dots of bright gold begin to appear. It looks like real gold, like a precious jewel, the gift of transformation in process. truly amazing. It doesn't look like anything it had ever been before. And that's just on the outside. Inside, where I couldn't see, the changes that were happening were beyond amazing. I would suppose that all these changes would seem quite terrifying from the caterpillar's perspective. Wouldn't you agree? And yet it's happening because it is in its nature. Being afraid of the changes doesn't keep the changes from happening. The changes happen because they must. The chrysalis then turned from that deep stone jade with golden dots into a clear shell that looks like an acrylic casing. And now I had a window into its world. I could see what I hadn't been able to see before. Each stage of its development had to be done through a sort of death or letting go of the previous stages. Giving up the old stages of its development was the only way for the new, even more magnificent expression of this creature to emerge as an entirely new creation with a new name, butterfly. Everything about it moves in the world at this point is completely different. Its body shape, its color, how it eats, now through a proboscis, what it eats, nectar versus leaves, and how it moves in the world with wings. Absolutely nothing like it appeared before as a caterpillar. Such big changes are all vital for its full becoming. Behold, I make all things new. That's transformation, my friends. Could it have known that while it was in the earlier stages of the development, that this is what it was becoming? Probably not. And yet it was always in the caterpillar's nature to become that butterfly. There was no denying the true nature, even if it wasn't very evident at first. Could this be true for humanity? Is our transformation possible? Our divine nature in its expression as the Christ in consciousness expressed. It was always in the caterpillar's nature to become the butterfly. And that is true of us too. We are the Christ in expression. We are still in process. Big visions require big change, and big change is not always easy. We struggle with change, and maybe some of us don't quite see it happening fast enough. Or maybe we feel it's happening too fast. I believe that humanity's potential, our divine nature, is yet to be fully realized. But we are in our becoming as our highest expression because that is what we were made to be. Stages of development are evident in all aspects of nature. If you were to see a strawberry in the very first stages of its development, it doesn't look like a strawberry either. But it is in its process. It is starting to express as strawberry, and it is going through all the stages of development in order for it to be its fullest expression. Our divine nature in its expression as the Christ is the Word in expression. In our spiritual nature, we are the image likeness of God, an aspect of the divine in expression. Our divine nature, also known as the Word. So the idea of mind idea expression is a basic metaphysical unity teaching. Maybe we need to revisit this basic tenet in New Thought teachings of unity. It means the Creator as divine mind in action as an idea and expression is all of creation, and we are of that too. Are we done yet? We have denied our divine nature individually and collectively for so long, and perhaps like our two caterpillar friends, we are beginning to doubt that transformation is even possible. But here it comes. We can see things shifting all around us. We know something is happening, right? Maybe it feels and looks more like breakdown, the dark chrysalis stage of our collective development. And yet we're starting to feel that urge to be more of what we were intended to be, our divine nature in its expression as the Christ, the Word in expression. Charles Fillmore, Unity's co-founder, said, "Your word is the power through which you and your beliefs manifest. Each stage is important. I believe that's true for us individually too. Our personal and collective transformation is in process. We've just never been this before." I don't know about you, but I had a lot of breaking down that brought me to my spiritual path. And it's still happening because I'm still growing. That might be true for you too. What about since you started on your spiritual journey? Have you grown? Are you still growing? That requires change. Where is Spirit urging you to expand in your consciousness to include more of God in all that you see? You may be going through many stages of spiritual development. Perhaps you're shedding a lot of outer skins or identities or ideas that are no longer needed for your next stage of development. Good. Let them go. I'm happy you found a secure place here in Unity to continue that process of becoming as I did. I'm forever grateful to those who saw the vision for creating the space where you now sit so I could walk through those doors and begin my journey in transformation. We gather here in this place known as Unity Church of Brownsville within the Unity movement for our next stage of spiritual development that requires us to let go of caterpillar level beliefs and old outworn ideas about ourselves, about God, about each other, and about who and what we are. Because it is in our nature, in our divine nature. Yes, we are 100% human and 100% divine. And we're here to learn how to bring these aspects of our human potential into balance and expression. Divine beings having a very real human experience. This is why our way shower, Jesus the Christ, told us to love one another. The harmonizing power of love is the only way through. Together. How much separation do you think exists in the concept we call unity? We are all in this process, no exceptions. We're all on this journey of transformation together, and every stage is to be celebrated because it was needed to get to where we are now, and will be needed to get to our next level of our becoming. If we choose to look back, let us look back in gratitude for how far we truly have come, not to crawl back into the outgrown caterpillar skins. It served us then, but no longer. We are so much more. Let us brave this passage beyond what we have known, forward to the next version of who we can be, the new expression that is yet to be realized. Unity principle number 3 states that we create our life through our thinking, and that the thoughts we hold in mind produce results after their kind. So we participate in the creation of what we experience. What are we creating with our thoughts? Sometimes we have to let go of a thought or belief we've been holding in our consciousness before we can embody a new thought. Charles Fillmore said, "Never make an assertion, no matter how true it may look on the surface, that you do not want to see manifest in your life." We are preparing the soil to make way for new seeds of thought. We're releasing what no longer serves us and then affirming what we want to see manifesting in our lives and in the world. In a very practical way, this is the path to transformation. October is we focus on the power of zeal, which is our ability to accomplish great things. This zeal is our inner flame that burns brightly for all to see. Doesn't the 5th generation of monarchs who make it all the way to their wintering grounds in northern Mexico require zeal to accomplish this incredible feat of migration and change? They attempt the journey. Something in them calls them forward. We too are being called forward in higher and higher levels of expression. And the expression is love. So I ask you, what are some of the limiting thoughts you have held about yourselves, your neighbors, our nation, humanity? These are creating our collective experience. Bring these thoughts up in your mind so you can see them and decide, is that what we are putting our power of zeal behind? Look around you. What is being created with this power? Does it serve our next level of becoming? Using our power of zeal, let's spark our inner light of creation and choose a new thought, a new life-giving thought, a butterfly-creating thought. And let's remember that any thought that isn't serving us, we can release. That is the power of denial that we practice in unity. We may have that thought, it may flash in our minds, but we then can say, it has no more power over me. So I invite you to jot down a thought or two that are no longer serving you on your path of transformation, or as a member of this body, or as a citizen of this nation, so you can work with it in your meditation. It's time to release the old, unproductive thought and create a new affirmation as a frame for a new creation. We are in transformation and realization, as in to make real, of our true divine nature, individually and collectively. This is our becoming. This is our becoming. Let's affirm, and with our fellow caterpillars in whatever stage of development they are, that transformation is indeed possible, and set ourselves on the task of demonstrating it in our lives by working with our denials and affirmations tools in practice of our 3rd principle in unity. You are an aspect of the Creator in action. If you work it, it will work. I invite you to repeat this after me, if you so wish. I am free of the thought or belief that has been limiting my expression as the word of the Creator in action. I am word in affirming that my true nature may become in expression in all my choices to know unification in agreement to source in unity and oneness of being. And so it is.